Hey everyone, welcome to Marketing Mastery. This is one of my absolute favorite subjects of all time, and this is celebrity fashion photographer Kevin Michael Schmitz. Many of you know me from prior webinars and speaking, but marketing is really everything when it comes to being a successful photographer. And what happens is so many photographers, you end up getting booked on jobs and you end up kind of getting lulled into having word of mouth, having, regular clients that keep booking you time after time. But you know what? Oftentimes, photographers miss the boat on so many more opportunities, not only to book more clients, new clients, but also to be able to get those clients that might be being able to pay you larger amounts for your photography. And oftentimes photographers don't charge enough for what their services are. They don't get what they deserve. And I'm here to help you guys make sure that we can achieve to earn more as a photographer and be able to take yourself to that next level by mastering your marketing. Now, I often do these epic high-end, large investment photographic workshops on marketing, as well as the business of photography and in-person experiences. But today, I did want to lift the veil and give you guys all kinds of free tips and strategies so that you can incorporate it right now, today, into your photography and start marketing yourself, getting yourself out there, and start booking more clients now. Now, we're going into a big year. 2023 is going to be a massive year for photographers, especially with so many projects that had been held up, over the last couple of years during COVID. A lot of the budgets and a lot of the projects got pushed to 2022 and then going into 2023. So I'm really excited going into 2023 about all of the projects on the horizon, all the campaigns, and also the large budgets being spent. Because as inflation goes up, also the budgets go up. And businesses are aware of this. They're going to be spending more. And I want you guys to take advantage of that, because you as photographers need to be doing the same thing. You need to be able to get what you deserve and be able to market yourself to those audiences so that you can start getting all the dream opportunities that you've always wanted to achieve. Now, today I'm going to be talking about some of the tips and strategies that I incorporate. Now, just to give you guys a little bit of a background, in case you don't know my history, but I actually did my bachelor's and my MFA to be a professor of photography, and I spent my entire career as an advertising photographer. And you know what? I came out and I started, during like 2008, during the collapse of the market. And I saw so many photographers that had been kind of lulled to sleep, because up until then, the big commercial photographers that are making $100,000 to $500,000 per photo shoot, a lot of them, they were just used to it. They're used to these huge budgets. The competition was, of course, it was fierce, but if you were at the top, you didn't have to worry as much because you're kind of already locked in and loaded. And now, and when that happened, that huge economic shift worldwide, a lot of them just got gutted because a lot of them didn't know how to handle it. And a lot of them also didn't have their marketing intact to be able to find new clients, even when their clients disappear. So the first step that I do want to talk about today is how word of mouth, while it is important, and it is something that I do recommend, of course, we want to build a word of mouth because we want people talking about us. We want people referring us, and that's fantastic. Definitely cannot stay right there. It has to be more. You have to be able to offer more to your audience. You have to be able to reach a larger audience and not just rest on your laurels. Okay. So a marketing strategy, developing that strategy is absolutely key and critical to your success as a photographer. Okay. It is something that I cannot express enough how important this is. And for each and every one of you, I challenge you right now to develop a strategy plan, a photographic strategy plan of your marketing to start kicking into gear over this next year. And what better time to start is right now. So, you've got over the next few months, developing for the next year, developing a whole new marketing strategy so you can hit the ground running in 2023. Now, the first thing that I do want to start to think about in when I am developing a marketing strategy, and this is, and I don't care if you're an individual photographer or you were a Fortune 500 company, you want to start to identify who those target clients are. Who is it that you really want to target? Who are they? What type of clients are you going for? And of those clients, essentially, are they commercial? Are they consumer? Or are they both? And that's totally fine to have both. So I want you to start to think about that. So if you are a commercial advertising photographer, are you reaching out specifically to ad agencies? And within ad agencies, who are you reaching out to? Then if you are a commercial advertising photographer or you want to achieve that, then you're going to be approaching the art directors, the creative directors. They're the people that actually design and create the stories and the ad campaigns that are happening. Or are you going to be approaching magazines and you're going to go after the photo editor or the fashion editor at a magazine to get published to be a fashion photographer, right? So those are some of the decision makers. If you're going to be going after editorial fashion, you're going to be going after definitely photo editors, fashion editors, and also essentially the editor-in-chiefs of the magazines. If it's advertising, you're going to be going after art directors, creative directors, or art buyers, art producers, or print production managers, which are essentially the people that you're going to be bidding on the campaigns with. Now, I have a lot of experience with this because I've shot campaigns for Burberry, I've shot campaigns for Giorgio Armani, I've done campaigns for Pepsi, I've done pharmaceutical campaigns, I've done all kinds of major campaigns, $100,000 to $200,000 advertising campaigns for 2-day shoots, and the way I've been able to achieve them is to use a systematic approach of marketing, to be able to market to my audience and to pinpoint who those people are, connect with them, and then follow up with them, build a relationship with them, and then in the past, it was an in-person meeting. These days, they're not doing as many in-person meetings, but set a Zoom call. And to be honest, guys, I think Zoom calls are even stronger because now you have a captive audience. If they're on Zoom, you can show them things. You can talk about things. You can get them excited, right? And I think that's important because if you have them in front of your screen, you can show them your content, right? And I think that that's really valuable if you can show the client who you are and what you're doing. So if you're a fashion photographer and you're reaching out to fashion brands or advertising agencies that represent fashion brands, you can approach them by setting up a Zoom call, marketing to them with the intent of setting up a Zoom call, because that's much stronger than just a plain phone call. But if they don't set up the Zoom call via email or messaging, then you can also call them to follow up to get them on the Zoom call. But that would be my strong suggestion, is to get them on and showcase your body of work, showcase your portfolio, your digital portfolio, get them excited. And also not only your photographic content, but also showcasing your video content. If you shoot high-end video production, for instance, and if you don't, you might want to think about it, because a lot of times clients are specifically looking for photographers that are also directors, that are also looking to be able to shoot, high-end video content in addition to the still photography. So if I'm, showcasing kind of like a fashion, lifestyle, or beauty brand, I'm going to be showcasing some of my reels, some of my content that I've shot for, for clients. These are $100,000 to $200,000 budget jobs. And I showcase some of my commercial spots to get them excited, right? So you want to be realizing, okay, I have to have a brand. I have to target the audience of who it is I'm approaching, right? So, if I'm going to go after, for instance, and specifically right now, we're talking about fashion commercial advertising, right? Now, we need to find out who that decision maker or who the specific client is. And then we need to start thinking about who the decision maker is at that brand. Okay. Now, if I'm going after high-end fashion, for instance, right? And I'm looking at, I've got some great, fashion content on my website and everything like that I'll showcase. And that's all fine and dandy, but that's only the start. We need to find out who the audience is. Okay. So if I'm going to go after, say, Prada, Louis Vuitton, I want to shoot another campaign for Burberry. I want to also shoot another Giorgio Armani campaign. I want to shoot for Gucci. Okay, let's take Gucci, for instance. Okay, so if I want to say I want to shoot a campaign for Gucci, now there's a obviously different ways of doing this, but the most tactical way that most high-end photographers do is they do sign up for a one of the list service companies. Now there used to be a bunch of them. Now they've kind of consolidated down. AdBase, Yodelist, and Agency Access are all one company now. So, for instance, Bikini Lists and it's AdBase / Agency Access are the two kind of main ones now. So, for instance, I'm a member, and what I would do. It's pretty expensive to do this. So you want to make sure all of your stuff is in play and you've got amazing branding, world-class portfolio, high-end stuff like Vogue level content before you start marketing at this level. But if I'm going to approach Gucci, I'm going to search the directory, right? And just give you an idea, I actually just looked up Gucci, okay? And we could look up the Gucci in New York or Gucci in Italy. And then what I'm going to do is now I'm going to look for, okay, 9 contacts came up. We can find their office, go to their contacts. Okay, I probably want to get a hold of Giacomo Biasci, as well as Paolo Bisci. Those are 2 of the art producers that are going to be the main decision makers here at Gucci, right? They're going to be the ones that I'd be actually bidding on the campaigns with if they were to consider me. Another thing, and Olympia Ballet. So those are pretty important. I'm also going to look at the art director here. Now, surprisingly, there's only one art director. That's also because it's also possible that some of the art directors and creative directors at Gucci probably unsubscribe to this because they're getting so many emails, but at least this is a place to start. So, generally they probably have more like 40 creative directors and art directors here. But at least let's start with this one, with Carlo. And you know what? I'm going to also CC these art producers on it too, Giacomo and Paolo and Olympia. And I'm going to start reaching out to them. And I'm going to now, okay, I've got their contact information, right? Through here. I've got their direct email. So Giacomo, I've got his email address, and also, if we want, we've got the company's information. We can call the Gucci office, and you can also talk to Giacomo as well, and make sure that he receives your email. And then you can also, now I would craft, I'll do a series of things now. So we've targeted our specific brand that we want to shoot for. We want to shoot for Gucci. Now we need to come up with an email that we would want to send to them, right? So we want to come up with essentially what we would say to Gucci if we were to get in touch with Gucci, right? Now, when we're doing this, we have to think about how and what kind of messaging we're going to provide, right? Now, I like something very simple, and this is one of the mistakes that a lot of photographers make, right? A lot of photographers make the mistake of being way too complex with their messaging. Okay, so what I would suggest is keep it very, very, very short, simple, sweet, and to the point. And in this case, this is a personalized email, and this is an example. So I would say something like, brilliant, or brilliant art direction. So something to catch their attention. That's one way to do it. Another kind of, fun way to do it too, that kind of like make them think that you've been already in communication with them, is just do like reply all. Like you just replied back to their email. That's one kind of little strategy that I like to throw in there, and it makes it a little bit more likely to open it. Right. So it looks like you're responding to their message. But then say something like, hey, Carlo, your art direction is brilliant on the latest Gucci campaign. I know my work would be perfect for your next project. Does Wednesday or Thursday at 2 p.m. work well for you to jump on a quick Zoom call to showcase some of my latest work that aligns perfectly with your brand? Right now, this is pretty forward. I'm actually directly asking them for a Zoom call. I might want to send something a little softer first before an approach like this, but this is one way to go right to the point. Okay. And I've attached one picture. That's it. Don't need any more. Just one picture. I've got a website link. Now I do a ton of stuff, right? I mean, I shoot fashion, I shoot lifestyle advertising, I shoot television, I shoot commercials. I do all kinds of different things, different brands. But the only website that I'm sending them is my direct link to my fashion brand, because that's very carefully put together. Okay. And it's something that I really want to make sure that, that they are thinking about, that it's something very, very specific. Okay. they're not looking at like, oh, he's a lifestyle photographer. Why is he approaching Gucci? No, I want them to think that I'm just a fashion photographer because that's all I want them to be perceived as, or I want me to be perceived as, right? Now, we offer epic photographic workshops in advanced marketing mastery, a 6-hour intensive. We have them on posing, art direction, storytelling. We have them on closing the deal, how to follow up and actually book the campaigns, these, $100,000 campaigns with clients. Also, we have obviously in-person experiences where images like this, we shot this, at the workshop with a parachute at a massive water studio with a supermodel from Vogue. And it, helps take it to the next level. All right. So I'm also putting a poll up here in the on the webinar here that I do encourage you guys to respond to. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And basically, how likely would you guys be to enroll in any of our epic experiences? I'd like to hear it. Now, we offer all this awesome free content, but this is something that I want to make sure you guys kind of learn some of the messaging here. And also some of the mistakes that photographers make are they send like a 3-paragraph like message to somebody. I can tell you what, the longer your message, the less likely somebody will ever respond to you. In fact, this is fairly long message for me. I'm trying to put a lot into this, but it shouldn't be more than a couple of sentences, right? So I think that you would really need to work on, each and every one of you, shortening your messages, making them short, sweet, and to the point, making it really clean with your branding and your signature and your website. And your website's got to be full on epic, ready to go. And then just attaching one image. Now, every time I'm going to communicate with them, I'm always going to do this the same way. Even if they respond back, or even if they don't respond back and I send another email, I'm going to send another email with the same short messaging, but maybe adjust what I'm saying. And then I'm going to put my signature just like that. And then I'm going to put attach a picture, another picture that's going to be in line with what they're doing. Now, this would be like if I'm shooting a commercial, I've got this written down as TV director and executive producer. If I specifically want to shoot their photographic campaign, I would call myself fashion photographer, executive producer. So, whatever you're approaching them as, right? In this case, I've attached this great picture. If I was to send another email, I would attach another great picture in line with this high-end fashion. And then each consecutive messaging, I'm going to just swap it out for another picture, something fresh and new each time, right? Just so that they're more intrigued and they see kind of a drip campaign of my images. Now, this, of course, is a personalized message. I would also get on there and go after Carlo and Giacomo through other means, such as one of my favorites is to go on and get into LinkedIn. Now, this is something that's heavily underutilized for photographers is LinkedIn. And I recommend all of you guys get on LinkedIn heavily and start using it in depth because, agency access is great, to use and to have access to all this amazing database and stuff like that, because it's kind of the way to start, because this has the database. I think it's got about 90,000 creatives in here to start with. And you can also build lists that you can import into LinkedIn. Now, I show you how to do this in the marketing workshop. That's really intensive. And I do recommend you guys get involved in that. It's an epic experience. Our marketing workshop, it's $12.95 and it's a 6-hour intensive. If you like, any of the content here, we go in depth for a 6-hour intensive, and we bring in some expert panelists as well who are marketing geniuses, and it is amazing. So there's different things. There's a creative directory here. There's a directory concierge, is the list builder. Creative directory is where I'm just going to look up a specific decision maker, like I just looked up Gucci. List builder is great. This is usually what I use. This is the add agency access all. I created this list earlier this morning with a list of 20,000 contacts from 4,000 companies. And these are all the companies essentially in North America that I'd be contacting. So these are ones that I would be emailing and also calling. So these are ad agencies, et cetera. So we can, contact these based upon, essentially what we're going to be approaching. Like, for instance, some of the agencies like Wunderman Thompson Health is more for pharmaceutical advertising. right? WV Outdoor, it's probably an ad agency that handles outdoor brands. And then of course, if you guys start getting a little bit more adept at all of this, you can start picking out which agencies are some of the more well-known ones, and the ones that are also like winning major awards. So like Saatchi and Saatchi is a major one. TBWA Shy a Day is a major one. There's a lot of big ad agencies in here, and you generally can tell by the size of the contacts how many are listed. That'll tell you kind of the scale of how many people are actually at the agency. But anyway, approaching these people, we want to, there's a couple of ways to do it. One, I was showing you a more personalized, direct way. But if you want to be contacting them in a way that's very, very, I would say, broad, and you can, cast a wider net, which I do recommend doing as well. I would also start reaching out to them using an email broadcasting system. Now, I generally would like to export this list, right? So there's a huge list here, and then we can go and export this 20,000 contact list, and then it has everybody from all the big ad agencies. Like here's Zimmerman. This is a big ad agency, right? And this is one where you can go after the contacts, all the creative directors, chief creative officer, and essentially these people, the people, remember, we're going to go after the art producers, art directors, print producers, creative directors, senior art directors. Those are all really valuable people. Actually, just about everybody in here is pretty valuable. The creative assistants, I wouldn't really, or the graphic designers, they would be a little bit less important. Copywriters, not as important as photographer. But those other people that I was naming, definitely valuable. If you're also filming commercials, you also want to reach out to the TV producers, like Juan Urbano. You'd want to reach out to him. Anyway, so I say I export this list. The next step is then, okay, well, what am I going to do with that list? First of all, we want to upload it to an email marketing system. I personally like to use Infusionsoft/Keep. That's a really nice system I've been using for a long time that has a lot of ways of chain emails. So you send an email and they can set it up so that then you receive another email, consecutive emails after that. And based upon their actions, whether they open it or they don't open it, they then receive another email in a chain. So I usually like to set up chains that are like 7 or 8 emails long. And there's a break in between, so a few days or a week or whatever, and then they based upon their actions, it tracks it, and then it sends another email like it's personally coming from me. So I like that. And there's a lot of, there's HubSpot, there's Keep/Infusionsoft. Those are great ones to use. But I also like other systems. Like I've used all of them, from Vertical Response to MailChimp to Constant Contact. There's MyBizMailer. There's a million of them out there. I would say if you want to do something very simplified, I personally like MailChimp. And I think for the first couple thousand leads, the contacts in there, it's free. And then after that, it gets pretty expensive. But if your list is small, then a couple thousand emails is great. You can start with that. But definitely, I recommend to cast a wider net as well. So even though we're going very specific, we're also casting a wider net for a larger audience to then personally follow up with the people that you've hit and that are getting interested. Okay, so say I had this list of 20,000 and I want to send out an email broadcast. I would upload that list to my Infusionsoft. I would set up a series of chains, emails, which I actually show you in depth how to do that in the Marketing for Photographers workshop, how to go and set all of that up and then create a very, very dynamic email marketing system that systematically reaches out to them and approaches them. I also recommend getting involved heavily on LinkedIn. And there's also a kind of a secret way that I talk about on there on the marketing workshop of how to upload my database into LinkedIn, which is a little bit challenging. It's something that a lot of photographers kind of miss that and aren't aware of how to do stuff like this. But I recommend really getting the most out of LinkedIn. So I went on LinkedIn and I looked up Carlo, who was that amazing art director over at Gucci, and I'm going to connect with him as well, right? So since he is a great decision maker that I want to build a relationship with, then I think it's also important that we message him not just via email, but I also want to message him on LinkedIn. It could be a similar message. Or something just to kind of catch his interest. So okay, I'm gonna add a note, and I'm basically gonna say the same thing I did in my email, and see what he says. Or I could keep it even simpler and maybe get rid of the whole Zoom request until I get a response. So in that case, I'm just going to do this. I'm going to be, and I'm going to keep it even simpler. Your art direction is brilliant. I just want them to connect with me. And that way I've sent him a message and I've asked for his connection. Once he responds, then I'm going to I have a whole chain list of messaging systematically that I'm going to do after that. Okay, these are all really important. I also noticed that there's all these other people, and LinkedIn recommended them. Teresa Marconi, art director at Gucci. Sarah DeMarco, art director Presso, Gucci Milan. Ariana Prete, art director Italy. So these are all other people that are, that look like they're associated. And Teresa, I would probably do the same thing. And, and message her something simple like that. And I'm saying that general message because generally Gucci does have really brilliant art direction, and I don't know what specific campaign they are directed, but I at least want them to think that I'm following them and that I'm impressed and wowed and dazzled by them. Okay, so I'm just reaching out to all these people, and the way LinkedIn works is that if you're like a first connection or you have mutual connections, it looks like I do. I've got mutual connections already with Carlo. He's more likely to accept me if I already have mutual connections. So I also recommend each and every one of you, if you're not connected to me already on LinkedIn, I strongly recommend that you communicate and connect with me on LinkedIn, because I have a really big network. And if you jump on and look at my network, I've got 20,000 contacts, 16,706 connections. Those connections are so valuable. It's taken me years, many years, to build up that level of connections. And then I basically have people full-time just messaging people every day, communicating with them to build relationships with these art producers and these creative directors. So whether it's me doing it or somebody on my team specifically reaching out to, and sometimes also, if you have an agent, you can have an agent do this as well that represents you. But building those relationships on LinkedIn is absolutely key, because LinkedIn is very professional. And the difference between LinkedIn as opposed to like Instagram and Facebook is that LinkedIn is very, very professional. It's something that everybody is on LinkedIn, right? So because everybody's on LinkedIn, it's something that, you're going to get more of the professionals and they're going to receive the email. Whereas with Instagram, a lot of times the messages are hidden and they, unless you've had any sort of prior communication with that person, generally you're sitting in their spam box essentially, and you're not really getting in. So definitely remember that LinkedIn will go right to their inbox. And that's why I love LinkedIn. It's one of my favorite methods, and it's a way that I communicate with people. It actually recently worked for me for a television show opportunity. I was going back and forth with a producer and head of development of TV shows for Bravo, and I was trying to get the bottom of who the main decision maker was. And what I did was I did some research and I found out the main guy on LinkedIn, and I shot him a message directly, and he communicated with me directly. We set up a Zoom call, and then everything went well. But it was all because I did my research and I went in depth and went after him via LinkedIn. But I recommend doing a full multi-pronged attack: personalized email, LinkedIn messaging. I also recommend Instagram, following them, maybe message them on Instagram as well. Same with Facebook. And then also let's include them in your large scale email broadcasting email, so that everybody is also receiving it. So those are all things that I think that can really, really help. And by the way, I do want to answer some of your questions. The great Philinda Roy just is on here, and great to see you, Philinda. I'm glad you attend every single one of these amazing webinars. Wheaton, you asked, what was the other name of the subscription directory in addition to AdBase? That was Agency Access, which Agency Access and AdBase are the same thing. The competitor was Bikini Lists. Bikini Lists is a competitor. I believe they're still around. AdBase and Agency Access just swallowed up and bought out Yodalist. So it's all one right now. But Agency Access is very expensive. So if you guys, I wouldn't recommend investing in it until all of your branding and your photographic body of work is so A-list that you have 40 ideal, iconic images. You've fully branded. You are ready to go. You developed all of your branding. You've sophisticated, met with photographic consultants, ironed out all the details on your LinkedIn profile, your website, your printed portfolio, and have everything ready to go before you buy the list and go in depth with reaching out. So I recommend that. In fact, I do also strongly recommend, if you guys are interested in kind of the stuff that we're doing, we happen to have. I happen to have a team of professional photographic consultants that work with me on my team, and we offer free photographic momentum sessions, strategy sessions, and this is specifically for photographers that they want to take it to the next level. They want to create, develop, and essentially develop a business strategy plan that's going to motivate them and take them to the next level in their career. And this is something that we actually offer completely free. And it's something that I think is a brilliant thing to take advantage of, to set up one of these free photographic momentum sessions. I think that, if you haven't done this already, I strongly recommend that you jump on, and I'm going to put it in the chat so that you guys all can have an access to do it. So, and that way, you can strategize your momentum in your photography, your marketing, and kind of develop a marketing strategy for 2023, what to do next. And work with one of my team members, my expert photographic consultants, to help you and be your coach and mentor going forward so that you can become more successful and kind of take it and kick it into gear. Because you know what? I don't care how good your photography is, if you're not marketing it properly and it's not in front of, 100,000 people that are receiving your messages on a daily, or at least a weekly basis, then you're missing a massive amount of opportunity. So, okay, and I'm going to ask you another great question. So, Crystal Bear, I just wanted to thank you, Kevin, because of what I learned from your workshops, plus the video reels I've helped to create. I've had the opportunity to work with luxury car dealerships doing videos of Ferraris, Bentleys, Porsche, etc. This came about simply starting a conversation in person and following up with phone calls, something I would have never done before working with Kevin. That sounds awesome. Thank you so much, Crystal. I really appreciate that. And that's fantastic. And you have been such an inspiration, such a wonderful photographer to work with, Crystal. I love your energy and you're an absolute professional. In fact, I know, Crystal, I believe she was with us, shooting some of this incredible stuff that we did in our Las Vegas experience. And Crystal created, unbelievable content in Las Vegas with us, with top models, and also as a world-class gimbal operator. I'm also really impressed at her video skills that she's been able to really master. She actually filmed quite a bit of this video that we're watching right now. So thank you so much, Crystal. I love it. Okay, Wheaton Mahoney says, your photographic consultants are great. Thank you so much, Wheaton. I appreciate that. And I'm really glad that you get to connect with ours. They are fantastic. Okay. Yeah. And then Jane and a few of you guys were on here just talking about, Felinda and Jane were discussing the cost of agency access. It is pretty expensive. I think it's about comes out to be about $1,300 per year or something to have access to it. And it's always been about that. It's always been pretty darn expensive. But like I said, you don't want to subscribe to it until you are ready to rock. And that's where we come in. We're going to help you, guide you, and bridge the gap between where you're at right now and where you're going to be once you hit to that point where you want to be able to start marketing and going full on and taking it to the next level. So very, very important. All right, guys. And also, if you guys have any other excellent questions, please, these are great questions. I love to hear them. And it's good to see so many of you photographers on here that I know personally. The great Alnur Morali, we just worked with you at the masterclass in LA. It's so good to see you, Alnur. You created just mind-blowing images at the masterclass in LA. I mean, it was one of the greatest masterclasses I've ever produced as far as the production, the scale, the quality of the top models that we had, the unbelievable wardrobe styling, and shooting at these locations that were just really, literally like out of a fairy tale. So really fantastic to see you there, Alnur. Andre Flewellen, so good to see you, buddy. I've worked with you multiple times, and you're brilliant on set, and you're so fun to be with. And of course, we have the amazing David Gesprecht, which he's one of my most impressive photographers that I've ever had a chance to work with. David, you are brilliant, and I've not only had a chance to work with him at multiple of these epic fashion and lifestyle advertising productions, but I also am going to be doing a one-on-one coming up with David, where we are doing this really incredible like mountain lifestyle kind of advertising campaign to go after that kind of market, which is really, really cool. So we're planning that because we also offer one-on-one experiences, and I'm super excited about that, David. We have some amazing photographers, quite a few that I haven't met yet as well on. And then we have the great Jane Ritchie. Great to see you. She also won, I think, #4 fashion photographer in the world award this last year, which I'm really proud of her. Really incredible to see the great Jane Ritchie. Actually, you can see her image right there, winning as #4 fashion photographer in the world. Really impressive. And then, of course, the great Felinda Roy, who is incredible photographer herself, and also just traveled to France. So good to see you, Felinda. I know you've attended some great workshops with us, and I can't wait to work with you again in 2023. As well as you, Prince Williams. So excited to work with you. I know you're coming to a couple of workshops coming up, and I can't wait to create some mind-blowing content. And good to see you, Wheaton, as well. So, wow, we have so many familiar faces, and this is fantastic to see you guys on, as well as some new faces. So, excellent. So good to see you guys. Now, this is another thing I want to bring up. So if we're going to get into marketing, I really do recommend winning awards. And for those of you guys who are on right now, winning awards is so key and critical. And I recommend submitting your images, especially if you've taken any of these epic workshops with us, because we've won 107 awards this last year in the One Island Awards. And the awards are counting. This coming year is all the awards are, the deadlines are happening basically this month and next month. So I strongly recommend that all of you guys on here that have attended the epic workshops with us, go ahead and submit to Lurzer's Archive, Communication Arts. Those are the two most high profile photographic awards. One Island Awards, which you see right here, which we won 7 out of 10 of the top fashion photographer of the year awards. We also, I recommend the Color Awards. I know David Gesbrecht, you won in the Color Awards this year. Also, the International Photography Awards, IPA, that's another excellent one. So International Photography Awards, One Island Awards, Color Awards, Lurzer's Archive, Communication Arts, those are all great ones to start with. And I recommend entering your images in those. And when you win, because I know that, just about all of you guys on here that have taken workshops are going to be winning awards because of how iconic these images are from the workshops, let me know, notify me, send these to me, because I love to post them. And this is a really big deal. When you win awards, so someone like Jane, who won #4 fashion photographer of the year in the world, I would recommend marketing that. If she hasn't already, Jane, I recommend getting that out there to your audience and making sure that they're aware of that. So if you're contacting Gucci or Prada, or you're approaching any fashion brand, make sure that they know that you're an award-winning photographer. It definitely helps with your brand, and it can be something snazzy to put out there in your marketing. Really, really valuable, and put it obviously on your website. So, and Jane actually had a couple of these award-winning images, which is really exciting, from the workshops. This is from the Elite Masterclass, which is really spectacular. All right. So definitely when it comes to marketing, we want to go after LinkedIn. We want to go after Instagram. Now, Instagram is valuable, but I want to make sure that you don't rest on just having an Instagram profile without a website. Make sure to have that website, because websites are key. Absolutely key. And making sure that you've got a really solid website with 40 cohesive images that are ready to rock, that you can start marketing. And if you're not there yet, that's okay. That's where we come in. That's how what we can do to come help you, is develop those photographic portfolios at the highest level. And guys, one of the reasons these images are winning awards, it's because of the scale of production. Okay, it's the scale of production of what we're doing. When you shoot something at this grandiose production level, it's so ridiculous, it's so over the top, it's so high end, that the audience is wowed by it just on the sheer production value alone. And this is something that it's expensive. If you were to film a reel, If you were to photograph a portfolio at this level over the course of 5 days, you're looking at anywhere between $50,000 and $100,000 a day between the wardrobe stylists, the hairstylists, the makeup artists, all the top models, the film permits, the locations, the catering, the equipment, the production assistants. It goes on and on and on and on. It's extremely expensive to do a production right and to get something like you see here. This is very, very complex, very expensive, and you have to have the right connections. So you could spend anywhere from a couple $100,000 to $500,000 to develop a tremendous amount of time, energy, and commitment to produce shoots like this. Or you can come to one of our epic workshops and do it over the course of 5 days. We do everything for you and use all my connections and relationships. You get to leverage all my connections, be able to connect with my A-list team, and be able to shoot something that's so grandiose for a tiny fraction of the investment. And that's why this is such an incredible investment. And that's why developing an epic portfolio and getting involved in one of our photographic workshops is literally the best investment you can make in your branding and marketing budget for 2023. Because this will take you to the next level. It really will. It's a huge, huge, huge advantage. And that's why our photographers that have taken many workshops and many of you guys that are on right now, you have a huge advantage because you built this body of work. Now all we need to do is market it to connect the dots. You built the brand. Now you have to market it. Then the next step is closing the deal. And we just so happen to offer some epic workshops on all of those specific things, from masterclass on retouching, posing, art direction, and storytelling, marketing for photographers, closing the deal and booking more clients, which is basically taking the marketing. Then once you market, then following up and booking the jobs and bidding on campaigns and actually sealing the deal. And then, of course, branding for photographers, which is developing your brand, which I think most of you guys are at right now. You're at the branding stage. Developing the brand and portfolio to the highest level. Then we go into heavy marketing. Then we go into closing the deal. Now, if you guys want to get involved in any of these, mind-blowing, world-class productions that we have, specifically like marketing for photographers, I do highly recommend it. And the coolest thing about this is that when you enroll in any of these epic photographic virtual workshops, they're 6-hour intensives. And they're incredible, incredible productions. In fact, many of you guys on right now have already watched the marketing workshop. You've already attended it. And those of you who have not, you definitely need to get involved. But the coolest thing is that it's only $12.95. You can watch it immediately. And that full $12.95 counts as a 100% credit towards any of our 5-day workshops. And that's the cool thing about it, because you end up getting it for free. 6-hour intensive on marketing to the highest level. And we bring in all these marketing experts, including marketers that literally have marketing agencies that cater specifically to photographers. It's an awesome opportunity. And if you enroll today, you can enroll, instead of it being $12.95, you actually get a $300 discount. So it ends up being only $9.95 to enroll. So it's an awesome deal, and you can use that as 100% credit towards any of the 5-day experiences, because we want you to get this content. We want you to get out there and market. We want you to be more successful, and we want you guys to actually come and shoot these amazing productions in person so that you have something to market to. Really, really, really valuable, really important. Okay, so and if you guys haven't set up your photographic momentum session, you can also do that now in the chat. And then if you're interested in enrolling in the marketing for photographers workshop or any of the other ones, you can talk with your photographic consultant about that and how that can benefit you. And they can tell you more about that, and also kind of what it all entails. So go ahead and click on that and make sure to set that up. All right. So, marketing for photography, it is a skill. It's an art form, and it's something that a lot of photographers, they miss a lot of important things. Now, the thing that I do want to touch base on for a bit is that, we can market ourselves blue in the face. We can spend money on, email broadcasting, agency access lists. We can, build an epic portfolio. We can market the heck out of it on Facebook, LinkedIn, everything. However, one thing I'm going to just request from each and every one of you, if you guys can just do me this solid, please follow up with your leads. Because what happens is that we're marketing out there, and photographers get frustrated because you're sending out all these email broadcasts, you're making all these phone calls, and people you're not going to get booked immediately. You're not going to get them crawling out of the woodwork to book you. However, if you follow up with them relentlessly, eventually projects do happen. And I just really challenge you going into this next year, please follow up with these people, follow up with the decision makers. Make sure that you're getting out there in front of people and you're touching base with them, because oftentimes they're not just booking the photographer that, they saw an image, a month ago and they liked it. That's not the photographer they're going back to. They're going to the photographer that's in their face right now. The photographer that's contacting them literally today with content, and oh yeah, that works. That's just in line with what we're doing. Great. Awesome. All right, I'll book that photographer. That's what they're going for. Okay. So I need you guys to start following up with people, because you're going to get so many more bookings the more you follow up with people, the more you get in touch with them and you stay front of mind, top of mind. That's why I'm suggesting get into them on all fronts: Facebook, LinkedIn, get on Instagram, message them, personally email broadcast them, and then phone call them. And on some of those fronts, you'll probably get a response eventually. But it definitely is a systematic approach. Okay, so we targeted we discovered, okay, these are the goals. I want to shoot for this fashion brand. I want to shoot for these fashion brands. Okay, so we looked at Gucci. We targeted the Gucci decision makers using agency access. We found their contact information. We start marketing to them, personally emailing them, messaging them on LinkedIn, look them up on Instagram, on Facebook, communicating with them. Then we do need to call them. Okay, we need to reach out to them and we need to speak to them. And of course, this is what most photographers won't do, or they're unwilling to do it. And if you're unwilling to pick up the phone, then good luck. You're going to have a really hard time in the industry. You've got to be able to pick up the phone and contact them. The goal, of course, though, is to lead it to a Zoom call so you can get on Zoom and you can showcase your work, your photography, your video, wow and dazzle them, right? So that you can get them excited about who you are, so that they can be more interested and they want to work with you. So they're like, oh yeah, like, oh, I love this project. It's got it's diverse, it's got diversity, it's got, beauty and fashion. It's about how women feel about themselves. This is right in line with what my beauty campaign wanted to be. Oh, I'm interested, showcasing content, following up with them, making sure that they are aware of who you are constantly, and staying in touch with them relentlessly. Okay. Now, I do want you to develop your business goals and your photographic marketing goals. And this is something you can do on your one-on-one strategy session. I also can showcase on our website, we have in our articles section, the photographer's business strategy plan. Now, this is one for this year, and I'd like to challenge you to make one for 2023. And but essentially, breaking it down by quarter: first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. And this includes what my financial goals might be, what kind of audience I'm going to be searching, and a systematic approach of what I'm going to do to hold myself accountable each quarter. And then I challenge you to take this a step further and break it down by month. And you could even break it down to week, but I would say at least per month. Okay, it's November. What would be, what are we going to do in November to systematically put together our plan for this month? What about next month? What about the following month? Okay, come up with these ideas and start to incorporate all of these strategies, and then we can hold you accountable, your photographic consultant. And I challenge you to also get on our website, photographyworkshopseries.com, and get on here and literally you can copy and paste this. Literally copy and paste this from our website. I'll put it in the chat, and you can literally lift this from our website, copy it, make it your own, send it to us. We're very interested in helping you guys. And this is a systematic way of developing, okay, these are the targets. This is what I want to achieve this year. These are the systematic ways of doing it. And these are the actions I'm going to be taking going forward. Now, one thing I would adjust here is that On this plan, I put promo pieces. I don't know if you necessarily need to print them this time, but I would do the design, the promo piece in a digital form, just like it says here. Do a digital promo piece. Doesn't necessarily have to be printed, because a lot of times the agency creatives are not in the office anymore. They're out on location, at home, they're working remotely, whatever. So you could have a promo piece that is digital. And that way they can just see your promo piece, a digital version, rather than a printed one that is very expensive to do, and is also one that is might not ever make it to them these days because they're all working remotely. Okay, and if you guys need examples of this, we can share with you guys examples when you do our photographic strategy session with one of our photographic consultants. Okay, so we refined and targeted our audience using agency access. I also recommend you create a detailed budget for your marketing, your business strategy, and your portfolio development. This is something that I want you guys to really think about. So if your goal is to make 300,000, I would say at least spend 10% of that on your marketing, your portfolio. So your goal, if it's going to be 300,000, I would say bare minimum, you should be spending at least 30,000, at least, on developing your portfolio, marketing yourself. Okay. So, think of any business. I don't care if it's a restaurant, it's a doctor's office, a dental office. I don't care if it's a gas station, a grocery store, no matter what the business is, every business in the world takes some sort of money to invest, to develop it. It takes something. There is some sort of cost. I don't care if it's leasing a space, hiring employees, equipment, whatever. Every business has a cost. Well, why doesn't a photography business? And equipment aside, gear aside, because photography gear, okay, you got your camera and some lighting gear, big deal. Other than that, you need to invest in your business. And I don't mean, opening up a studio, hiring employees. No, you need to be spending money on what's important, and that's your marketing. Your marketing is everything. Your sales and your marketing. And to be able to market yourself, you need your brand. And your brand is essentially your body of work. It's your website. It's your portfolio. That's everything. So that's what I would be investing your money in most. Your portfolio, your website, your video reel, and then your marketing. Whether it's, email broadcasting, it's signing up for LinkedIn Sales Navigator, which I do recommend, whether you sign up for agency access, whether you do MailChimp or whatever, that's all valuable. But where it all starts is your brand, and you've got to develop your brand. And I don't mean just shooting mediocre model tests and, mediocrity in, wherever you're located. I'm talking about producing a large scale, massive production. And it doesn't matter if you're a consumer photographer or a commercial photographer, but producing something at a very high level that's going to allow you to land more opportunities. That's going to get you in the door to be considered to shoot the kind of projects that you've always wanted to shoot. If you want to do commercial advertising, we need content like this at our Miami workshop that's going to get you down the pathway of shooting high-end commercial advertising or resort advertising, right? Having content that's A-list, multiple model scenarios, highly styled, highly produced, production level that's next level, something like this. This is what's going to make you more money. This is the pathway to do it. Okay, so I strongly encourage, and that's why we offer these epic 5-day experiences. It's specifically to help photographers take it to the next level. That's why we're here, so that you can have this content to then market it and then start achieving greatness. That's really where this all starts. Very, very valuable and important. Okay, so create a budget. I don't care, what that, the number is for you, but I would suggest the more the better, just because, the more you're going to spend, the more money you're going to make if you're spending it intelligently. Do not, and I repeat, do not waste your money on equipment. Equipment is not going to book you more jobs. I've never had in my entire career the opportunity came in and the client said, "Hey, Kevin, what kind of camera do you shoot with?" Nobody cares. And they're all the same anyway these days. It doesn't really make a difference, whether I'm shooting with a Canon or a Nikon or a Sony or whatever. It doesn't make any difference. Honestly, I could shoot the same campaign on my iPhone. It's just a matter of the production, what I do with the production, who the models are, the styling, the level of quality of the production. That's really what matters. So you need to start thinking about that. It's not about equipment. In fact, I don't even buy equipment unless I book a huge campaign and the campaign's paying for it. And I buy it, when a campaign's got a big budget, I'll buy equipment and then rent it to myself. That's the way to do it every time. Okay, so please develop a business strategy plan, develop your budget for your marketing, and then develop a business strategy and marketing strategy with one of our photographic consultants. And that can entail, okay, a systematic approach. How many emails am I sending out? How many phone calls am I calling? How many messages am I sending on LinkedIn? What is the strategy? How am I going to do this and incorporate it? And then, essentially, we're going to follow up. And this is one of the things that this is so key is booking more clients, is to actually follow up and get in touch with these people. The people that you're reaching out to and you're building relationships with, touch base with them on a regular basis until the opportunity comes. I have like about 5 major campaigns that I'm constantly following up about that have booked me in the past. And like Burberry, for instance, is one of them. Unice is another one. I have got like a series of these brands that have shot campaigns and sometimes multiple campaigns. And then I'm now relentlessly following up with them so that we can book the next campaign, because I want to make sure they remember me. And oftentimes their marketing directors change, their creative directors change, new takeover, whatever. And I need to make sure that I'm in line in the next one, because things are changing all the time. And I want to be the sought after the photographer, the one that they want. That is going to be key. Okay. So with marketing, guys, definitely make sure that the brand is just top notch. Make sure that your audience is very specifically picked out, and then cast the wide net for everybody, then the personalized follow-up, and make sure your messaging is short, sweet, and to the point, and just on target with what you're looking for. And please set up as many Zooms as you can. I'd like for you guys to tell me in the Q&A, how many of you guys in this last week have had a Zoom call with an art producer or a creative director? Please mention in the Q&A. And I bet that there might only be one, but of all of the people on the massive audience we have on right now, you guys all need to be on Zoom calls, like constantly. Every week, you should be on Zoom calls with clients. I do this constantly. I'm always doing this, so I'm making sure that I'm building relationships with the art producers, with the creative directors, and then I'm setting Zoom calls, or TV producers, because I'm doing a lot of video production now, right? Making sure that I am top of mind, I'm in front of them, I'm excited about, I have them excited about what I'm doing, who I am, and essentially what we can offer them. What kind of value can I bring to the table? What can I do for them that's going to completely wow and dazzle them and make them want to work with me? Where is that? What is that? What can I do to add more value to that clientele? So this kind of stuff is so key to our success, is having a video reel at this level and being able to showcase content that's going to wow and dazzle our customers, because my brand needs to speak for itself. Showcasing my brand, but in a really strategic marketing way that's going to go after the clientele that's going to want to book them. All right, guys, I'm really excited, and I can't wait to work with each and every one of you. I think that the workshop series, it's at such an incredible opportunity for our photographers. And each year we make these more and more over the top, more and more ridiculous for our photographers to give you guys the opportunity of a lifetime to create the greatest content of your lives. And I'm proud of what we achieve. I'm proud of who we are and what we're being able to do for our photographers. And it's something that it sets you apart from everyone else. Oh, and by the way, I just got in the Q&A, Andre Flewellen says, I have 2 Zoom calls so far this week and one coming up on Friday. Andre, that's fantastic. Andre's taken multiple workshops with us. And he just enrolled in 2 more. Andre, that's fantastic. I love to hear it. And I really encourage you on the Zoom calls to showcase the epic content that you shot at the workshops, because that's going to wow and dazzle those clients. That is absolutely key. All right. So guys, I can't wait to see you guys in person at any of these world-class, unbelievable productions that we take to the highest level. And I encourage each and every one of you to incorporate utilizing marketing strategies that I talked about today and incorporating them to master your photographic business and take your photography to the highest echelon of your potential and start booking up your entire year, because that's what this is all about. So thank you guys so much. And I can't wait to see you guys. If you guys do need any templates or you want any more help on marketing your photography, jump on a photographic momentum session with one of our photographic consultants. We'll be here for you, and they'll help guide you and coach you every step of the way. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us. And I can't wait to see you in person and online at our unbelievable photographic experiences. Take care.